Ruffles was excited to see Chris. That's all she could think about. Maybe Chris is back, Ruffles thought. She raced down the stairs. They were. That comic book was in your hand, Joy said. It was on the bed the whole time. Chris just ignored Joy. Who cares, Chris said. Bark, bark. He tossed the book. It landed on the floor. Oh well, Joy said, not feeling angry anymore. At least it was only just a book anyway. Maybe we could buy another one since Yuri chewed on the pages. Chris thought for a moment. Great idea, Joy, Chris said. Let's go right now, and... You aren't going anywhere until you pick up this mess, Chris' father told him. Aw, man, Chris said, but why can't we buy anything? You've got plenty of papers to draw on, his father said. Make yourself useful. Oh, well, Chris said. Okay. Very well, Chris' father said. Then he patted Ruffles. Good puppy, he told her. Ruffles yawned and closed her eyes. She took a little rest. It had been a long day for her. Later, when the Peeper family was just going to bed, Ruffles curled up on her cushion. She liked being with her sisters and playing with them. They made her feel less lonely. She wanted to play with them more often. The next morning, Ruffles awoke, except this time she was on 2 feet. Ruffles didn't realize what had happened to her. What happened to me? Ruffles asked in surprise. Ruffles covered her mouth. She blushed. I'd better go tell Chris, she said. Chris was sleeping when he heard a thump. What? Chris asked. Where am I? What happened to me? Ruffles! Hi, Chris, Ruffles said. What happened to you? Chris asked. Well, you won't believe me when I tell you, Ruffles began. Uh-huh, Chris said, nodding. It was the Super Dog book, I think, Ruffles said. Cool, Chris said. Ruffles rolled her eyes. Yeah, she said, so much for that. Chris was confused. Who are you again? Chris joked, being silly. Ruffles. My name is Ruffles, Ruffles exclaimed. Who are you again? I was just teasing, Chris said. Oh, Ruffles said. Chris and Ruffles laid on the bed in silence for a moment. Just then the silence was broken by the sound of Joy running up the stairs. Our cousin Yuri and Uncle Max are coming today, Chris, Joy said excitedly. Wow, Chris exclaimed. That means no homework from school. Ruffles, my name is Ruffles. I know, right? Ruffles said. Ruffles, Joy said. What happened to you? The Super Dog book transformed me into a walking and talking dog, Ruffles exclaimed. Joy gasped. That means no good, Chris. But now we can understand her, Chris said. Our cousin Yuri and Uncle Max are coming today, Chris. Come on, let's tell Mom and Dad. Ruffles nodded. She walked down the stairs holding Chris's hand. Hey, Mom, Chris said. Ruffles is on 2 feet and I can understand her. Well, his mom said, I've never heard that before. Well, Ruffles said, now you have. Well, I've never heard that before. She can talk, Joy said. and stand on 2 feet. Chris and Joy's mom was worried. How can this be? Chris' mother wondered. I have 400 sisters in all, Ruffles said. Then Chris' mom gasped. 400 sisters in all? Yep, Ruffles said. That's more than the fossil sculpture I had made a few days ago, Chris' dad exclaimed. Are you sure there are that many, Chris? Joy asked. Well, Chris said, scratching his forehead. I guess. Ruffles slapped his hand hard. Chris turned to Ruffles. Of course there are, silly, Ruffles said. 400 of us. Chris laughed as if he didn't believe her. It's true, Ruffles said. Come on, Ruffles said. Doesn't anyone believe me? Just then, she remembered the super dog book was upstairs waiting for her. I've got to go do something important, Ruffles said, running up the stairs. She went into Chris's room. Hello, Ruffles, said the super dog book. Ruffles got up onto the chair. Where would you like to go today? The super dog book asked. Where would you like to go today? Wow, Ruffles said. I want to go to the dog park. Your wish is my command, the super dog book said. Then a bright light showed. Ruffles closed her eyes and she appeared in a different time period. Whoa, Ruffles said. This place looks amazing. There were a whole bunch of things to do there. Well, I want to go to a dog park.